Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson, this is Full Time Devils, and joining me today for the Everton preview is Scott, so make sure you can go and give him a follow on Twitter. The link will be in the description below, or it'll be popping up on screen potentially, I don't know, we'll find out, won't we? So, we're going to be talking about Manchester United and Everton coming up, but the first thing we're going to talk about is Jose Mourinho discussed today in his press conference that he's not too worried about Paul Pogba's injury. He says he's going to be missing for a few games, doesn't know quite how many, but he also then name-checked, he's got Herrera, he's got Fellaini, he's got Carrick, he's got all of these lads coming back. He reckons that we've got a strong squad. Scott, what do you reckon? Do you think that we've got the sort of strength in depth to be making up for someone like Pogba going?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And especially with these games coming up. If you look at the teams that we're playing, they're all physical. So give Pogba a rest for me. Herrera and Fellaini will be perfect for coming. This is really, The squad is strong. They're probably our strongest squad since I can remember, 2011. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. Be a nice rest if, like I just said, nice rest for me.
For me, when we've got Burton, should be a tap-in. We're going to be heavily rotated for Burton, I imagine. But Everton's going to be a tough game at home, going to be hard to break down, going to be a team that's really going to push us all the way. And then early October, we've got Liverpool. Now, last season, we disappointed against Liverpool away. We didn't really manage to beat them. Well, we didn't beat them at home. This is going to be a difficult game for us. Surely we need all of our best players, and Paul Pogba is undoubtedly that. Like, have you got no concerns going into these games missing Pogba? Do you think there's someone more important in the team that we couldn't lose?
No, I mean, I honestly think Pogba will be back for Liverpool. So I'm not concerned on that aspect. But like I said, as far as Everton are concerned, they've just played last night, got an absolute, they got destroyed basically, and they'll be tired. I mean, we all know what the Europa League does to our teams.
Yeah,
when you're playing on a Sunday, it just completely, seems to sap all the energy out of you. So I've got no problem at all with Everton coming to our ground this weekend. I think we will win comfortably, and I'm not worried about Pogba having a rest. Like I said, Fellaini can come in, but preferably I prefer someone closer to Pogba, and that would be Herrera with his passing. So, no, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not concerned. Liverpool, yes, concerns me, but like I said, Pogba will be back for that.
Is there any area that we couldn't afford to get injuries in, do you think?
Well, I mean, I was worried about the right-back situation, but then Cafu played the other night. Sorry, Ashley Young.
Hang on, are we not over-egging what happened here? He put in one good cross, which was a phenomenal cross, but are we not getting mega carried away here? This is a guy that's not been known for his consistency or ability to withstand major injuries over the course of a season. He's a guy that is regularly injured and a guy that's mega inconsistent when he's playing. Are we honestly thinking that he's a viable option at right-back over Tony Valencia, who's absolutely bulletproof?
No, I would have two on Zabi personally, but like I said, with Young I mean, are we overestimating Basel? I mean, every time they play, they always seem to do well in Europe, and for me, it was a brilliant performance from us. Are we downgrading our performance in that game? I thought we were pretty good. It was very comfortable, very Jose-esque. So for me, it was a really good result. And Ashley Young played really well, so that was my concern at first. But obviously, up against Everton, I'm not concerned about it.
Wayne Rooney joins us for Everton. He's going to be making his return to Old Trafford. Jose spoke in a press conference about expecting that he'll get a great reception from the crowd before and after the game, but he hopes not during the game. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, he should get a good reception anyway. The guy, for me, is a legend. We just had a problem with him over the last 5 years. I think the only person who's gutted that he's not playing for Man United anymore, sorry to say, will be Laura Simpson. I mean, if he was still playing for United, she'd probably be doing a tour of America on The View instead of this morning. But I mean, for me, I'm glad he went, and the way Jose handled it was better than what we could all expect. But no, I'm not going to boo him. I don't think anyone should boo him while he's playing. And personally, give him a cheer at the end of the game. He's been a servant. He's been a legend. Look at his trophy collection. Just says it all.
I think booing's a weird thing. I've never booed at a ground. I don't get it. It seems so pantomime to be sitting there going, Boo! What's all
very
that
odd.
about? I don't get it. Yeah, it's not something that I would ever do at a match. I can cheer and I can ignore the shit out of someone, no problem. But
Yeah.
booing doesn't really enter my sort of thinking at all. No, so certainly won't be giving any aggro to Wayne Rooney. I can see him scoring though, which is a bit of a nightmare for us. Do you expect him to celebrate if he does? Do you care?
I don't. He's not going to score. I mean, he is not the player he was. I mean, if he does score, it'll be a consolation or something like that. I mean, he's not going to score. I mean, as for the booing, I agree with you on that one totally. I mean, we should not be booing. I don't know where it came from. It seems to come up from. It started with Evans, if I'm right. When Johnny Evans was playing, and suddenly we started booing, and then it became sort of a thing that came over and over. But I'm totally against all booing, and I was certainly against the.
For me, it's not even the act of booing someone and what it represents. It's literally the physical standing there going, boo.
Yeah, it's very pantomime, and like I say, it's very Arsenal. Very Arsenal. They love booing their own players, but again, I'm not to boo someone. It's quite pathetic. I don't know.
On Rooney then, before we finish on Wayne Rooney, was his time up at Old Trafford when he left?
Yeah, well, it was over 4 years ago.
Wow, that was a bit of a bold one, but I would tend to agree that I think, yeah, it was certainly the time that he went was the time to go, if not the summer before. I can't see him getting into United's starting 11. I can't see him being the first option off the bench. United needed to move on with quicker, more mobile players, and I feel like we've done that pretty effectively, and we look quite devastating going forward this season. We're going to hit up a 30-second advert, so stay tuned and you might be able to see that. And we're going to come to some of your guys' comments shortly as well, so if you've got any questions or queries or comments or anything that you want to say about the match, make sure to get them in the comments and we'll be reading them out in a second. So, going to come to your starting 11. The current league table for the starting 11 prediction has got John Shin leading the way on 29. Yassir's on 19, he's doing pretty well. Ben Pearce and McCullough, 18 and 17. And Suf is on 16. You're on 9 with Sadiksha, and Statman Dave is on 7 after being in 45 previews this season, which is amazing that he's only got 7 right, but there you go. Bit of a widge. Give us your starting 11 for this weekend against Everton.
I mean, obviously, De Gea. I would, obviously De Gea. Ashley Young again. Didn't put a foot wrong, so yeah, give him another run out. Daley Blind, I would start him over Darmian. Darmian for me, I don't know what it is with him. He doesn't seem right. Maybe he is a right back. Bailey Jones, I bring them straight back in, and then I would bring in Matic, and I would play Herrera. And I would like to see us start with Mkhitaryan, but the front three with Rashford, Lukaku, and Martial. I'm waiting for these to play. It was like when York and Cole, you were sort of waiting for them to let's see you two perform together and then go on a run. And I think this is the best front three in the league easily, and we should give it a go. Why not? Speed, power, youth, just go for it. I think they'll be cracking. They'll destroy many teams with the speed that they have.
I think there's a very good chance of that, but I think the issue that those three players have to an extent is, at the moment, they're very self-centered players in terms that you're looking at essentially 3 strikers. There's not really any sort of partnership formed where they start looking for each other in the old-fashioned sense of things. You've not really got, the number 10 out of any of them. They're all quite, obvious number 9s. Now in Rashford and Martial, they play off the left-hand side generally, but when they come in, you don't see them coming in and creating, do you, like Mkhitaryan does. You see them coming in and trying to take shots because they're trying to score goals. As exciting as I think that forward 3 could be, I think it lacks a little bit in balance. But I'm not sure we get balance playing Mata or Mkhitaryan on that side either. I think this is where I see evolutions from Manchester United. This is where I see improvements for us going forward a little bit. Starting 11-wise, I think I'd go for Big Dave in net, obviously. I'm going to see Tony Valencia at right back with Blind left back, Bay and Jones at centre half. I would bring them back. It was a stupid mistake from both of them for the 2 goals at Stoke, but I think they've been the performers so far this season, and I think Lindelof, Smalling, Tuanzebe, Rojo when he gets fit, they're going to have a bit of a climb and a bit of a fight to get back in ahead of either of those two at the moment. I would go with Matic and Herrera. Same forward line essentially with Mata on the right, Mkhitaryan in the middle. And then I'm unsure on Rashford or Martial on the left-hand side. I need to go and do a bit more looking into what Everton offer and what their weaknesses are and stuff, and see who's going to be best suited for that. But I would, off the top of my head, I'd say Marshall and obviously Lukaku up front. And I reckon you want to be finding out whether it's going to be two former players are going to be scoring against their old clubs, Rooney and Lukaku. I think that could be on the cards. We've got some comments here from everybody. Art says, how important is Mkhitaryan while Pogba is out?
Extremely. I mean, obviously, I mean, they're all important, but I mean, for me, the most important player now is Herrera. He's the one that needs to come in and step up and try and fill Paul Pogba's boots, which I mean is nigh on impossible for any player, I think, in the world. So I mean, yeah, Mkhitaryan needs to step up, needs to embrace what he is. He's going to be the catalyst now. So, but complete. I mean, yeah, of course, he's important. I would like to come back though on the comment with regards to the three forward lines. Don't necessarily like to disagree all the time, but these two are highly disciplined. Rashford and Martial. They do track back. They do basically play left wing and striker. It's only when in attack that you see them actually crossing over and actually being more freedom. But when we're on the defensive, they are very disciplined. That's why I'd have no problem with these three up front.
Yeah, it wasn't a discipline thing. It was more of what they do with the ball at the feet. Is Lukaku going to be receiving the ball in the right areas, or is every time someone takes it into the box, are they looking to go themselves? And that's why I think Mkhitaryan and Mata bring to the table, and Paul Pogba brings to the table. And in my response to Art's comment about how important Mkhitaryan's going to be, I think massively, because if you look at the creative players that United have got in the side, Pogba was one of the ones creating the most chances for United players. Now, his assists weren't great last season. That's because Zlatan was belonging him here, there and everywhere, but he was making more chances than anybody else in that midfield last season. So I think Mkhitaryan is now going to be the number one playmaker in that side, and if you're an opposition manager, you're going to do everything that you can to stop Mkhitaryan. So don't be shocked in this little period if Mkhitaryan goes quiet. It's probably not him going quiet. You have to remember there's two teams in a game of football, and a professional Premier League team is going to be able to mark one player out of a game. Great teams overcome that by having Mkhitaryan and Pogba and Mata, but don't be overreacting if Mkhitaryan appears to go quiet. There's a very good chance that opposition managers, especially Koeman, are going to be like, that's the creative outlet, he needs to be stopped. It's then up to Jose Mourinho to find the other ways that you get around that sort of thing happening. That's sort of what happened a little bit with Pogba last year. In those big games, the best managers, the best teams, they're able to work out who's best able to hurt you, and Paul Pogba gets taken out of a game. It's not rocket surgery. The next comment we've got is from Kevin. I think Young played well, considering he's barely played recently. Barely played. He had one under-23 game. So, yeah, excellent on his behalf to come in like that. Some players need a hell of a lot of time. He come in and put in a decent performance straight off the bat. Dr. Cosmodroom says Shaw is fully fit. Yes, Mourinho mentioned in his press conference today that he's now fully fit. But I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it as well, Scott. If you saw the performances for him in the under-23s, pretty ordinary. Pretty ordinary. Not good performances in the slightest.
Worrying. I'm starting to lose hope. I don't want to. I'm starting to think Shaw. He needs to pull something out of the hat. What is wrong with that boy? What's wrong with him? Like I said, he seems to be he's over the injury, obviously. But there's something mental there. There's something, I don't know what it is. Does he need a cuddle every time he walks to the training? I don't know. I'm starting to lose hope with him because, I mean, he's potentially one of the best left backs in the country, easily. I can't work it out. I mean, obviously, I'm not at the training ground. I don't know him personally, so you're just guessing on what's actually wrong with him. But surely it's something. And if Jose's not picking him, then you have to trust there's a reason behind it. I mean, he's one of the best managers in the world. So if I say he should be playing Shaw and he doesn't, he knows more than obviously everyone. So, but I'm worried. I'm starting to think that either we'll bring someone in or like I say, one of the youngsters will come and overtake him. But it seems like not. His days are numbered. But I mean, he's got a perfect opportunity. I mean, he's up against Blind and Rojo.
There's
And
no one really standing out at the moment to take that left back spot. Someone can put a run of half a dozen games together and it'll be theirs. There's an opportunity there for all of them players, not just Luke Shaw. But yeah, I think we need a little bit of patience with Luke Shaw, but he's got to get games in the first team. He's also got to impress as a first team player, as an England international, when he's playing on the 23 level, which, let's face it, is proper vanilla football. If he's not impressing there, he's not going to impress in the Premier League. So I have my concerns, but I hope that the medical staff and Jose are able to get him through this. And Jetty says Rooney was always going to deteriorate because of how quick he was rushed back from injuries. I also think this is something that you can talk about with Wayne Rooney, is that because he didn't look after himself, that's also part of the deterioration. And you see people defend him, like, he can have a drink and this, that and the other, right? You see Graham Souness having a go at Paul Pogba for having a little bit of dye in his hair. But Paul Pogba doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, just is addicted to training. Last night I found out that he's having a five-a-side stadium built at his house so he can just play more football. That's the sort of guy that you've got with Paul Pogba, and people are saying his mind's not on the game because he's getting his hair cut from a guy who used to have a permanent attache like Graham Souness did. But people excuse what Wayne Rooney does and what Jack Wilshere does and what a lot of these players are doing. It's absolute nonsense. It does my head in. But yeah, I agree.
Wayne Rooney he's just Ricky Hatton. Everything about him just seems like Ricky Hatton. He's basically, I mean, how you burnt out at 30? I mean,
he was a young professional, 16 years of age, and he has had a hell of a lot of injuries, but he's not looked after himself. You don't hear of him staying behind for extra training sessions. You don't hear of him seeking help. The only things you hear of him is that he's been caught smoking, he's been caught drinking and drink driving. He's been doing all of these sorts of things which do not prolong his career. You look at the very best players in the world, like your Ronaldo's, doesn't drink. He's absolutely obsessed with being fit. And it might be a vanity thing, but he's obsessed with it, and it's made him the player that he is today. Paul Pogba, exactly the same. You don't hear of Paul Pogba partying at all. You just hear he likes a bit of a dance, and he has what maybe some people consider silly hair. So what? Honestly, Graham Souness was part of that drinking culture that was prevalent at United and at Liverpool, where they disappear for 2 days on the ale. Now, he's got no room to talk about a lad that's as obsessed with the game as Pogba is. It's absolute, does my absolute nutting.
That's why when I listen to like commentators like Souness, I mean, unfortunately, like Souness and things like that, they're just from a different era. So like he'll say it's okay to go out. I mean, these guys have to stay in peak condition for 10 years. That's all they have to do. They basically have to just stay on the straight and narrow for 10 years, and they will become multi-millionaires playing at the top of their game. And then after that, they can do what they want. But like I said, Souness and all these players, I mean, they're just from a different area, so they don't understand what it's like to play today. I mean, I prefer the old era, but, like I said, that's why we need, obviously, people that are, coming in. I'm not going to say that Danny Murphy's the right person to listen to, but, he'd understand the modern-day player a lot more than, like, say, people like Graham Souness would.
Absolutely. Right then, Everton. That's our opponents on Sunday at Old Trafford. What do you know about them? What are their threats? What's your thoughts on Schneiderlin and Wayne Rooney coming back? And Michael Keane as well, really.
Like I said, I think they will come and they'll just... I think they will be tired. I mean, I expect them to be tired. I expect them to come to the ground. I expect them to defend. But then I expect us to score at least 1 or 2 in the first half, and then floodgates. The Europa League, like I said, it's like kryptonite to Premier League teams. It really is. You'll see Arsenal get destroyed on Sunday. You'll see the same thing as well. So I'm not concerned about Everton. Like I said, Schneiderlin just wasn't good enough. Just wasn't good enough. We like to think he was, but he wasn't. And Rooney, yeah, like I said, we're all happy that he left in the way he did. He got to leave with dignity. Obviously, things have happened since where no, I'm not remotely concerned about Everton. We got their best player. We got their best player by a mile, and for 75 million, it seems an absolute bargain at the moment.
On one planet, 75 million, a bargain. But you're right. You are right. In this last transfer window, 75 million's peanuts.
Like
Jose said himself, didn't it? It'd be 100 million if they'd have signed him at the end of the window.
Oh, I mean, the minute Neymar's deal will come up, I mean, look what happened with Coutinho. I mean, he was desperate to leave, desperate, and he
They
started.
turned down 130 million.
Yeah, but he went for, like I said, he went from 80, and then the next offer had to be 130. I mean, 50 million difference. I mean, just because of what happened with Neymar. So I mean, yeah, 75 million Lukaku. I mean, Ed Woodward will be they'll be delighted with that. I'm pretty sure the Glazers were happy with his business. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're bang on. We saw how United's performances really suffered after the Europa League last season. We've also played on Tuesday versus them playing on Thursday, regardless of anything else. So we have had a little bit more rest, a little bit more preparation. And for me, it's not the rest. It's the preparation. It's the tactical look at what you can do against the team, which is what really messes you up in Europa and on the back end of Europa. Because United, let's say Everton, they're not going to have got back into training until around about now. They might have done a recovery session today. They're going to have a real quick preparation ahead of the game tomorrow before Sunday, and that's it. Whereas United would have been in, nice recovery, no travel for us because we're already in Manchester. Bit of a recovery session. Yesterday they would have worked on tactics. Today we could have worked on tactics. Tomorrow we can work on tactics, and then we can go into the Everton game way more prepared than they are. And for me, it's always the preparation, not necessarily the travel, which definitely doesn't help, but it's not necessarily that. It's not necessarily the fact that you're playing weird teams on crap pitches. It's the preparation time on the training ground, working out what they're going to bring to you and what you can do to overcome what they're going to do. That being said, what is your score prediction for Sunday?
I was going to say 4-0 again, but I think it'll be 5.
5-0. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's going to be 5-0. I think Lukaku hat-trick, Rashford and Marshall.
Bold. I'm saying 3-0. I'm not going quite too giddy. But I do think it's going to be a pretty comfortable... I could see Rooney scoring, so 3-1 wouldn't be off the cards. But
I could see Rooney
how good is it at the moment to see a United team and just expect goals from it? Good, isn't it?
I can see Rooney getting sent off for some reason. I've just got a feeling is something. It's just his head's going to go. Yeah,
I wonder if United have got any players in the team who maybe didn't quite like him and just want to try and say something to him to see what sort of reaction he gets. Be interesting to find out.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, towards the end of his career, he was probably like, I was going to say like a bad fart, but it's the wrong thing to say about a legend. But no, there would have been players wondering why he's there when he's performing so badly, of course.
I think he's pretty pally with everyone. I don't think there's anyone off the top of my head that I could think would do that to him. But it'd be interesting to find out. Anyway, so you're going 5-0. I'm going to go 3-0 with a maybe for a 3-1. Thank you guys for watching. We're going for 500k, so make sure to subscribe if you're new around here. Go give Scott a follow. And you know what? It's Friday. Go and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you all on Sunday for United and Everton out Old Trafford. An hour before kick-off, we'll be in Hotel Football talking utter macca. Come and join us for the team news and right throughout the game and afterwards for the fan camps as well. See you later.